It's a neat story about Justin. The SLDR came out towards the end of summer, right middle to the end of summer. In the Canadian Open, Justin was one of the first guys that had the opportunity to fit. Being a Texas player, what did you use in college? What was the standard loft you probably used in college as a good example?
Well, an example, my TaylorMade Burner Plus or whatever it was I think 7.5 in loft, and then I even went back to persimmon wood after that for a while and played it probably too long, and then but yes, I mean it was pretty common 7.5.
And you grew up playing in Texas. You wanted to learn to control the ball under the wind.
Yeah, I mean I never hit the ball very far, but I need to keep it down playing in Dallas and certainly getting to South and West Texas. Real important to just get the ball on the ground and get it rolling.
So again, you trust us to fit you, and we came to you at the Canadian Open with a 10.5 degrees SLDR driver, saying based upon the numbers, this is what we want to see on the TrackMan. It was a lot of face for you, and it was very uncomfortable.
It was a lot of face, especially coming from the Open Championship after really playing in some windy conditions and needing to keep the ball down. To get to Canada and on a lusher golf course but yeah, it is. It's a lot of face, and it took me 9 or 10 holes, and after an hour on the range and the 9 or 10 holes to really kind of I had to adjust my hat a little bit because I was, instead of looking here, I'm looking up there, and but to see the benefits of it, being able to A, the ball's carrying further because it's launching higher. B, it's spinning less, so it's actually hitting the ground with a little more heat. And also a ball that's spinning less is going to go straighter. And that's something that I've really adjusted my philosophy a little bit on driving the ball. I've always worked the ball quite a bit. And I get to a golf course and I don't hit a lot of straight shots in the past. Really, and probably 75% of the time I was turning the ball over, trying to get out there further. And with the SLDR, and I'd already kind of started the process, but really with this driver, with a higher launch and less spin, I've really gotten to hitting more just straight tee balls. Instead of trying to work a ball 15 yards, I'm going to try and move it 5. And because that's what this driver is designed to do, is to go straight and to take the spin off. And so I've really kind of changed my philosophy on driving the ball. Like I said, it started a little bit before this driver, but when I went into the SLDR, it really made that much easier for me, and I feel like I'm getting huge benefits from it.
It's fantastic. I don't quite remember who you were playing with at the Canadian Open during the practice rounds, but I remember you coming back and saying, hey, not only was I up with them where I used to have to hit a longer iron, I think I outdrove him a couple of times. So what we're going to see here, So what we're going to see here is what he used to play in our product, and look at the numbers on the board, and then we'll have him hit a couple SLDRs.
So this isn't the exact driver, but this is the model and loft that I started with 3 years ago with you guys, or a little over 2 years ago. It's the R11. Straightish.
Okay, so basically you can see it's exactly what we're talking about. This is, something that he would be comfortable with take out on the golf course. 7 degrees of launch is very low, but the spin is up to 2,700, where in the past we would look at that and go, that's playable, especially when Justin is a guy that's wanted to keep the ball flight down. So.
And this golf course being firm, last week's firm, that ball's not going to carry very far, but it's going to roll out there. And so that's kind of the way I grew up, and that's what I was comfortable playing with.
Yeah. Let's have it switch.
You may switch it now.
Yeah, let's go to the new one, Justin.
Okay. So another thing I figured out is that when you're sitting there looking at loft, it's a lot friendlier. It looks easier to hit. When Paul brought that driver over for to hit, I was like, wow, this is what I used to play. But now with more loft and less spin,
That's quite a difference, huh? Yeah.
Not on tour, nothing.
I know that was a good one. Maybe I could probably do your job. Yeah.
So basically what's happening is you see one go up, the other come down, and this is what the concept that we're talking about. So he carried, what was that 10 yards more of carry and about 20 more yards of finish.
Even with a ball speed that was down slightly,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Justin, did you hit that one right
no,
out the middle?
no, I didn't hit that one on the button.
That's awesome there.
There you go.
Really good.
As we say, we'll take 14 a day out of you with those.
There you go. So look at the difference there. Yeah. So Lego, I mean, what do you? So that's 5 degrees of launch angle, up from where he was, 6 actually, right?
Yep.
Spin rate goes down. So now, Justin, you're kind of on that path again, right?
Yeah.
So towards that 1700. We're not there yet.
No.
And honestly, we're going to show you a club later that allows us to get there. It's a little freaky, but
Right.
But you've got, I mean, just right there, that's 20 yards you've picked up, and by getting those numbers all the way there, you got another 25 in your future.
Yeah, and again, I'd love to hear that. But it's with more loft, the club is easier to hit. It looks easier to hit. And because it's spinning less, I'm hitting the ball straighter. So I'm not trying to curve it as much. There's some bunkers that have been in my way the last few years that all of a sudden this fall, a couple of them weren't in my way anymore. So it was fun.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think for everybody to see, you understand the numbers. You can see as the first player example how he's optimizing in the areas with the SLDR. It's pretty self-explanatory. The ball speed stays the same, but he's optimizing with the performance and technology of lofting up. So thank you very much.